and you're watching Eargasm. My friend Chloe Surreal is here. She's not going to be in the podcast, but I need someone to talk to. Today, I was Googling what animals are legal in California. Apparently, you can't own a hedgehog. You can't own a monkey. You can't own a ferret. I had ferrets when I was little, and my biological mom, she let us walk around with them on leashes. And I remember going into Pizza Hut when I was probably like 6, 7, walking into Pizza Hut with a ferret on a leash, and they kicked us out. They got very angry because that's not allowed. Like, you can't do that. A ferret in a Pizza Hut? Well, it's not like fucking Carbone or anything, but it's like still an eating establishment.
Well, there are standards, point blank.
There are standards. Oh, the babies. Don't even get me started on the babies on a plane. Every flight that I'm ever on has a screaming infant, and I feel like I handle it well, and I'm very mature, and I'm not.
100%. Just knowing the way you drive, don't handle it well.
Ooh.
just knowing.
Shots fired. Just in the past week, Chloe has watched me drive. She's seen me in action. I don't know if it's just how I've been feeling this past week, but it's been absolute road rage, like really bad. And I'm like, do I always drive like this, or am I just noticing it because I have a passenger? I've actually had a few road rage scenarios. I got out of the car in standstill traffic one time on the freeway. Like literally standstill traffic, bumper to bumper. This guy behind me is like laying on his fucking horn. I can't move. Like there's nowhere to go in front of me. It's just straight up car. Like there's just cars all around me. So this guy's laying on his fucking horn. I'm just in a mood that day. I was on the way to set actually for Penthouse. I remember I got there like 30 minutes late. I was already just pissed off. This guy's freaking the fuck out. I put my car in park. I get out of the car and I'm like, I'm about to get shot right now. And I'm screaming. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you honking at me? I have nowhere to go. I'm literally just a girl. And then I saw that he had like a toddler in the backseat, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna.
Even worse, the toddler's eardrums are so like,
yeah,
shouldn't be. You're setting a terrible example for your kid.
It is setting a bad example. I thought the same thing. I haven't been in a fight since 2019, 2020. And that was justified, actually. I was at a bar, 2021 for you. That's not that long ago.
Bad fight.
I would say 2020 is long. Oh, this is a girl?
I ripped her shirt.
Oh my God.
Like we were on the ground. We were scrapping.
I haven't really ever gotten in a fight with a woman, only men. I was at Joey, actually, Woodland Hills. I've never been back there since this incident. I love Joey Woodland Hills. It's like the best Joey in my opinion. So I'm at Joey and I'm with this like really hot girl, and like we were just friends, like we were just hanging out, and this guy would not leave us alone. And she's giving me like the eye, you know how like when you're with a girl and like a guy's being weird, you just give him like a look. So she was giving me that look and I was like, okay, he's standing super close to her, by the way, like literally like this. And I went up and I was like, hey, like so nicely. I was like, hey, can you give us like a little bit of personal space? Like we're just trying to have dinner and drinks. Like you're kind of just like really close to us. And he said something that pissed me the fuck off. He was like, I don't give a fuck what you think or something. He was really drunk. He was like being crazy. He said something really crazy. I can't remember. It was like really fucked up. Like something like fuck you or whatever. I stood up and I was going to hit him, but I hadn't yet. I stand up and he pushes me. I was like, no, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I push him back and he spit on me. This grown ass man spit on me. And like at that point, something in my brain switched over to the dark side. I don't know. And I beat the shit out of this man, like grabbed him. He was a pretty small man. I'm not saying I'm like strong or anything. I grabbed him he was wearing like a jacket, threw him on the ground way too easily and beat the shit out of this guy, like punching him in the face. I don't think he was bleeding or like I bruised him or whatever. But at that point, the Joey employees came over and they're like, broke it up, whatever. And they're like, hey, do you want us to call the cops? Like, you just got in a fight with this guy. Do you want us to call the cops? And I'm like, no, because technically I threw the first punch. I'm like, if you look back on those cameras, I'm at fault. Like I'm going to jail.
You first, though.
He pushed me first. Yeah. This is super off topic, but I had a guy. He's in the industry, but not in the industry too. He's kind of like, he goes back and forth. He was very adamant about me fucking a transgender person in front of him. And I tried to tell him, I was like, it's not really my thing. I don't really have an opinion on it that much, but like, it's not really something I'm into. And he kept pushing and pushing. And now I have to see this guy like pretty often. And I'm like, oh my God, I know what kind of freaky shit you're into. Like, I know everything. I used to think that race play was like weird and like racist. I used to think it was like super racist. I will say I have a lot of fans that are like interracial porn fans, which works out for me well because I do like fucking black performers a lot. They're the nicest ones. I'm not going to lie. Like if I had to pick my top 3 favorite people, I would say probably 2 out of 3 of them are black. So I'm on Sex Panther. I do like sexting calls, whatever. This man, this is not that long ago, by the way, probably like a month ago. This man, he told me he was black, but he was like, I have like a BBC fetish. Like I'm into like interracial shit, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We get on a call. This guy, he's like obviously jerking off. He's like, say BBC, like I want you to take a huge BBC, whatever. I'm like, okay, down, whatever. And then he's like, I don't know if he got like really riled up or just like super horny. This man was like, yeah, say you like that N-word dick. Like say, he kept saying, he was like, yeah, say you really like that N-word dick. And I'm like, I kind of like was thrown off and I'm like, I can't say that. I just can't say it. Yeah, that was one of the things. And also like, I don't think I've ever said that word.
No.
I don't know if I've ever said that word. So I was like, I'm not going to say it for you just because you're paying me. And he kept saying it. I had to act like I didn't hear him. Like, I was like, oh, the call's breaking up. Sorry. Can't hear you. Like when black people say the N-word, it's like not really startling. Sometimes it is, but I don't know. I just feel like nobody should say it. I feel like no one should be saying that word. I think it's offensive. If I think it's offensive, I think other people should think it's offensive. I don't know.
My heart rate's going just thinking.
I know. I'm like
sweaty in the palms.
No, because it's happened to me so many times where a white guy just drops it casually.
It's always
I'm like, what?
It's always and then like
it's always at night.
where people are like, ooh.
Why is it always at night? Oh my God. Yeah. I'll never forget this one guy at a party, white guy. He claimed later he was white passing. Apparently he had a black dad and he claims he's half black, whatever. But this man looked white, blonde hair, blue eyes. This was a white man. If you asked me, that was a white man. And he's just dropping the N-word. And I'm like, this has to be a normal problem for you. Like my friend who I was with was calling him out and being like, you can't say the N-word. And he was just like, I don't know, like my point of view from that, where I was like, I feel like this is a problem that you always get. Like if you're just dropping the N-word like that, does this not happen to you everywhere where people are like, hey, you can't say that because you look white? And he's like, no, it's never happened to me before. I'm like, you're lying. That's a lie. If you look that white, you can't just be going around saying the N-word. And like a couple times he dropped like hard ER. Like it wasn't just with an A. Like it was making me very uncomfortable. And I'm like, I feel like you're not allowed to say that. I feel like that's just not allowed. I got stimulus checks during COVID. Somehow I got like 3 or 4 stimulus checks. I was in quarantine shooting hella porn and like doing my thing and still got stimulus checks. However many they sent out, I got all of them. I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't be getting this. Like I'm good. Like I was only doing OnlyFans. Like I had money coming in from that. I'm not gonna lie, I did a few porn scenes during that time. I'm not gonna say for who, but I was shooting. And they still sent me a shit ton of money. I got like fucking $1,200 the first time, $800 the next time, and like another $800 the next time. I'm like, I'm just gonna cash this. I'm not really gonna ask questions. Yeah, I'm not giving them their money. The amount of money I paid the US government in taxes.
Oh my God.
They're not getting anything from me except for my taxes. I will say it's a pattern. It's a porn girl pattern, I would call it, for girls to not do their taxes in this industry. I've heard so many girls who like don't pay taxes in porn. And I'm like, we still have to pay taxes. Like it's still coming in. Like it's showing that we're getting money. I don't know. I think I'm just too much of a pussy to not do that. I'm scared of the US government. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very scared. There's a porn accountant who like does a lot of porn girls and he fucked up all of my taxes. Like I went to him for like, I think 2 years straight, like to like get him to deal with everything. So I didn't have to do it. I went to a different accountant who like handled it better and like wrote off my shit better. He was like, this guy fucked up all of your taxes. Like, I know you do porn, but like you have tax write-offs that you can't just write off. Like it was like, this guy was writing off like my apartment, which technically I think you can write off, but he was writing off every single thing as a business expense, which I will say a lot of the things in my life are business expenses. Because like I'm on camera. Think about that though. You have to prove it. You have to shoot a scene in your, whatever you buy from like a super expensive lingerie set or like whatever, you have to have proof of it. You want me to show the US government sent a porn scene of me wearing this fucking lingerie set. Like, how are they going to prove it? I don't get it. But yeah, your taxes can get super fucked up if you're like in porn and not doing it right. Being a porn girl has a lot of perks tax wise. Like, you can write off so much bullshit that's like, oh, I just want this outfit. I'm going to do a photo shoot in it. And that's, I don't know, it's a tax write-off. I've been in porn for most of my adult life. I started the week I turned 21. So I was only an adult for 3 years before that. I think 21 should be the porn age because I turned 21 that week and I think I was barely cutting it. Like, I'm pretty mature and responsible for my age, but I even think I was getting close. I'm like, okay, do I really know what I'm doing? Like, I don't know. Luckily, I figured it out quickly and I did well and I was responsible and I was aware, but I think a lot of girls, they're not really knowing what's going on at even 21. Especially the 18-year-olds who start. I'm like, do you know where you are right now? Like, do you know what's happening? I swear my frontal cortex did not develop until 25 and I felt it. It was right after my 25th birthday. Something was like, oh, I'm an adult now. I'm 26 now. And I'm like, okay, I'm like starting to get my life together. Incest porn. I don't love incest porn. I will say I've done it. I am responsible for a part of why there is incest porn in this society. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a lot of them just because I was shooting in such high volumes for a long time that I don't know like how many incest scenes that I did, but I know I did them. Several.
I've seen yours quite a bit.
You've seen my incest porn.
Yes.
I don't love that. I don't love that. Yeah, I'm partially responsible for why.
Like a mean stepsis. That was like.
I do remember being a mean stepsister. Yeah. Even like with civilians, sometimes I'll like joke around and be like, oh no, step bro, step daddy. Don't do that. Don't say that.
You want to know my favorite thing to do?
I'm stuck in the washer.
I'll put my vape up and say, goo goo gaga, baby needs his bottle.
Yeah. I feel like you're very mommy though, just with the tits, but you're not like MILF yet. You're mommy, but you're young mommy. You're teen mommy. You're actual teen mommy, except you're 24. I was not allowed to watch any MTV, anything remotely promiscuous as a child. Like, my parents very much monitored what I was watching and what I consumed. I used to get my phone taken away a lot as a teenager because I like had an attitude with my parents, which I did. I kind of did. But a lot of times I didn't, but they would take my phone away. And I remember like one time I got sent away when I was in high school because my parents found out that I was having sex. And I'm 17 at this point, by the way, like normal age to be having sex. And they sent me away. First, they tried to send me to a mental hospital. And I remember being in the room, you know, they do like the check-in thing, like the assessment, whatever, when you're going to a mental hospital. I guess most people probably wouldn't know that, but I do. Yeah, you know what I'm talking. You know about the mental health check-in.
Ping pong tables.
Yup. And the cards. They're always playing cards. So I'm talking to this lady. I'm 17. My dad drove me like an hour away to go to this fucking mental hospital. And I knew what it was as soon as we pulled up. He didn't tell us where I was going. He didn't tell me where I was going. And we pull up and I'm like, this is a fucking mental hospital, first of all. I'm like, why are we here? Like, what do you guys think I'm actually psychotic? But I kind of like played cool. I was like, whatever. We go in and we do the interview with the woman. And she's asking all these weird questions. Like, do I see dead people? And like, do I think about murdering my family and shit? And I'm like, no. Like, what are you talking about? And I remember sitting there with my dad and she was like, okay, well, what's the problem? And he, word for word, I remember this like it was yesterday. He said, we have an issue with promiscuity. He paused before he said promiscuity.
He had to think about whether or not he was going to use a worse word.
Yeah. Like, you're a fucking whore. Yeah. Which I think at this point, I had only had sex with like maybe 2 people. Like, I think 2 or 3 at most. So yeah, he's like, we have an issue with promiscuity. And she's like the interviewer girl is like talking to like her other colleagues and shit. They come back in and they're like, yeah, your daughter can't come here. And he's like, well, why? And she was like, you can't just send your daughter to a mental hospital for having sex, or I think she said like for being sexually active, whatever, unless it's like a real problem where I'm like spreading my legs on the side of the street type shit, which it wasn't. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm like, that's kind of hot. But yeah, so they sent me away. They were like, you can't come to a mental hospital just because you're having sex. And I'm like, I agree. I'm on the same page as you. My dad is not understanding. So we left there, and my dad actually, I was living in Alabama at the time. That's where I went to high school. And my dad lived in Illinois because that's where he worked. So my parents decided that the only solution was to send me to go live with my dad in Illinois. Like, I can't have sex in Illinois, which actually I didn't. I didn't have sex in Illinois. I'm not going to lie. But I could have. Like, if I wanted to, I could have. I just chose not to. I think I was there for like 6 months. Yeah. So I was there, I guess, grounded. I don't even know what you would call that. I was exiled. I was exiled from my high school life. Yeah, I was banished from Alabama, my high school in Alabama. And I went to this school in Illinois. Worst place I've ever lived. Absolute worst place I've ever lived. I actually do still have a couple friends from that school that I went to. So yeah, I got sent away to live with my dad in Illinois where I couldn't have sex, even though I could have. And then I got to come back, and then I was even more of a whore. It was just raging whore at that point. Roll Tide. Actually, I went to the other school, but
Auburn?
War Eagle. I went to Auburn. I didn't succeed. I didn't graduate. I didn't do well, but I did go there for a short amount of time. But yeah, at that point, when I came back to Alabama, I was 18 at that point. So I was pouring it up. I feel like that's a lot of men that I have sex with. They're just friends to me. Like, there's a select few that I like have feelings for that I actually care about. I guess I still care about the other ones as friends, but not as like a romantic partner. The difference is, if I find them attractive, I fuck a lot of friends of mine that I don't really think are attractive, just like in my, like, I have a certain taste, I have a certain type, whatever, but I still fuck my friends just because I like sex. Like, it's just, if you're around at the right time, I'm going to fuck you. I don't care if you're attractive or not. Like, if it's fun, it's fun. It's not like a deal breaker for me. Like, if I think you're ugly by society standards, I don't really care.
I think you can be attracted to things that are ugly by societal standards. But like, for me,
yeah.
Like, I can't fuck a bald man.
You can't fuck a bald man.
Physically, I can't even fuck Johnny. I can't fuck Johnny. I think about it, and it's like fucking those thumb people from Spy Kids.
From Spy Kids, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I could probably fuck a bald man. I don't know. If he had a good personality and I thought he was cool. My thing is like personality. Like, you have to have a good personality. I have to feel comfortable around you. You have to be funny, probably.
You don't make me giggle.
Yeah, if you don't make me laugh, I'm not even speaking to you, but I could totally fuck a bald guy. We accidentally went on a double date a few nights ago on accident. This was totally not planned. We planned to go with like some other girls, like other porn girls, but I have a weird thing where I don't like to be out with a bunch of porn girls because then we get recognized a lot, which is fine sometimes, but this was like Halloween and I wanted to go like...
I don't like causing a scene.
Yeah, I don't like causing a scene. I don't want to be like, especially if I'm doing my own thing and it's something like really fun. I don't want to be like stopped every 5 minutes. And I've noticed
recording the whole thing. Like, I don't like that.
That's another thing. People record you. I know that's like really
even girls
not cool.
They'll just whip out a camera and like start recording.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Dropping legal names.
Right.
Talking about personal.
That's my thing. If I'm with like my friends, whatever, I'm saying like personal things or like something in my personal life. But I've noticed, I've paid a lot of attention to this actually. If you're with more than 2 or 3 porn girls, you get recognized way more than you would on your own. If they don't even know you, then they'll know someone else who's in the group. So I try my best to not go out with a bunch of porn girls unless I want to be noticed, which doesn't happen often. But if you go out with a huge group of porn girls, people are going to be recording, not other people, not strangers. Well, sometimes actually there are strangers recording. Weird people, like weird things happen if you're in a group with a lot of porn girls, but also girls tend to like pull out their phone and record and like take Instagram stories, whatever, which I'm cool with if I know what's going on. But if I'm not, and I'm talking about something that I shouldn't be talking about, or if I'm with someone, such as the guy I was with the other night, that I'm like, I don't really want you to be in my stories or like in another girl's Instagram stories or Snapchat, whatever. It's like an invasion of privacy a little. Even though I did consent being with these people, like I like these people, it's still just, I don't know, I like to have something to myself, something that's private. I say this all the time. I'm like, I'm a porn star, but I'm not like a porn star. Like I'm a porn star on camera when I'm being paid and it's like in a fun environment and I'm like doing whatever. But if I just invited my friends to go to Universal Studios for Halloween, that's not working for me. Like that's like, oh, I'm with my friends and we're going out for Halloween. I might do an Instagram story of like me, myself, but I don't know. People just record at crazy times. And I'm like, I've been caught on camera doing some crazy shit. I'm not going to lie. Like it's been... I've been at clubs before and someone will tag me in an Instagram post the next day or someone will send me some shit. I'm like, dude, I look fucked up. Like I look like I'm on drugs. Even if I wasn't on drugs, I look like crazy. And I'm like, don't post anything of me unless I say it's okay to post. And I feel like that's like a normal porn girl thing to do, is just to post because you're there with other porn girls, you're like recording, whatever. I'm like, I need to like look over the footage before you post this. Like not all the time I look great. Yeah, you get to a point in the night if you're going out and clubbing, doing whatever, where you're blacked out. Like I'm not afraid to admit it. I get fucked up when I go out. Like I'm on a sick one. Yeah. Give me like a couple tequila shots or like a couple drinks, whatever. I'm out. Like I'm just living my best life. And if people start recording at that point, it's over for me. There's a guy in porn. I'm not making fun of him. I love him to death, who rubs his stomach before he comes. Like that's his thing. That's what makes him come, whatever. No one warns me of that, which now I'm aware of it. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. But the first time I worked with him, no one told me about it. He's coming on my face and I started laughing. Like they couldn't cut the cameras because he's coming on my face at the time and I'm just laughing and I'm like, they can't cut this out because it's the cum shot. Like you can't redo that. That's like a one-time thing. And I just had to play it off like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun, but I'm really laughing at him because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why didn't anyone warn me about this? I never went through like an ugly phase in porn. Actually, that's not true. Ooh, I went through a time in porn. This was beginning of 2021. I was very sickly. I was not taking care of my body and people were still letting me shoot, which I think is very unethical. I was so fucking skinny. I was like 90 pounds. Like I was just unwell. I have no excuse. I was just not taking care of my body. I was on set. This was the height of my unhealthy era. I was very unhealthy. I was not eating. I was drinking. I was like doing whatever, like partying, whatever. And I was very physically unwell, mentally unwell too, honestly, now that I look back. I was on set for a company, a big company, and I passed out. Like I was taking pretty girls, like pictures before the scene, and I passed out because I hadn't eaten probably in like 2 days at that point. Like I had not eaten. I remember drinking like a Starbucks coffee that day. I passed out and they were like, hey, we have to send you home legally. Like just from a legal standpoint, you have to go home. I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I can still shoot the scene. And they're like, no, legally now we have to send you home because like, you're not healthy enough basically. And I was a fucking toothpick at that point. I looked disgusting. Not saying that skinny people are disgusting, but I looked way too skinny for my appearance and like my normal weight, I guess. I was just physically unwell and they sent me home. And to this day, like I thank them for that. I'm like, no one should have been shooting me at this point. And I think another company shot me after that. And I see pictures from that scene and I'm like, who the fuck let me on set that day? Like who was letting me shoot scenes at this point? Because I was not mentally or physically there. Like it was really bad. And now I'm like, fuck, like now it's just on the internet where I'm doing a porn scene and I look disgusting and I look like I'm about to wither away. It's not good. If my fans hear anything from anything I've ever said, if they take anything away from Gianna Dior, if you comment on my body, death to all of them. I'm like Wendy Williams right now. Death to all of them. If you comment on a woman's body, I would say 100% of the time, women are aware what they look like. I knew that I was skinny. I knew that I was like way below what I should have weighed at this point. For people to say, oh, you're too skinny, you are withering away, basically. I'm aware, like we know if I'm looking thick, which by the way, I love looking thick actually. If you say, oh, you should lose a few pounds or like you look thick right now or like you look fat, whatever, I hope you die. Like I actually hope you die. That's not something you should ever say to a woman because you can fat shame people and you can skinny shame people. Like it's not a compliment to say a girl is too skinny or like, oh my God, you're so skinny right now, or like, did you lose weight? Because that also is a shaming thing. Like there was a point in my career where I was losing weight rapidly, but it wasn't my choice. Like it was just, I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just losing weight. I think it was like when I went off birth control or some bullshit. Something was going on with like my health and people kept commenting, oh my God, you're so skinny. Like you look so good. You're so skinny. Like that's not a compliment, especially if I'm like struggling with it or like there's some girls who have eating disorders in the industry, obviously. For you to tell them that they're skinny is not a compliment. Even if you mean it as a compliment, it's offensive to a lot of women. I've noticed, even just me, like when people tell me I'm skinny or like, oh my God, you're like a toothpick. Like that's not cute. Like it doesn't make me feel sexy. It's not a compliment. Like that's offensive. It's the same as fat shaming. Being in porn is like, it's a segue into thinking, or for men thinking that they can just comment on your body, whatever, which most of the time I do get positive comments. I do get people saying nice things, but it's still like, if you're telling me I'm overweight or I'm too skinny or like anything to do with weight or anything like that is just like out of pocket. Like it's just not, just tell me I look hot, tell me I look pretty, tell me I look sexy, whatever. The way to get my attention is to like comment on things other than my appearance. Like obviously I have hundreds, thousands of men telling me that I'm hot, that I'm pretty, that I'm sexy, whatever. And I like it. Obviously, like I do enjoy that. I'm not gonna lie. But if you comment on something other than my appearance, like that's so hot to me. Like if you can like find something else from a man's point of view that's like, I like your vibe or I like your intelligence or I like your personality, whatever, that's so hot to me. Like, I don't know. Like you're breaking the barrier of like me being hot and like whatever, which that was my brand for a long time. I feel like it kind of still is my brand of just being like, I'm a hot girl. Like I'm aware and I'm thankful for that. And I love that part of me. But it's like, if you say something about like my personality or like anything else, it's like, oh, I'm fucking you. Like if you can pay attention, I don't know, which I feel like most men are capable of seeing past appearance. Like they're not stupid. Like they are able to see other things. It's just that they think I want to hear only appearance compliments, which I do love. But it's also like, if you can find something else to compliment me on, that's not worldly.
You see a random dog on the street and you're like, oh, what a pretty little dog. That's how I feel. I'm like,
that's actually such a good perspective. I see dogs all the time. I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. But what about their personality? What about their heart?
My dogs are adorable. They're fucking demons. And they always feel...
Your dogs are crazy.
Like, are seen when people are like, wow.
Yeah.
Your dogs are great, but like, they're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So you see them.
Yeah.
It's real.
Realize. We start out this episode with realize. And we're going to end it with realize, real lies. I can't wait.
You can't wait. Oh.
The amount of times a porn director has been like, okay, now blow a kiss or wink at the camera. And like, can you do a wink? And I'm like,
that's like my
got you. It looks like I'm having a seizure. I can't do it. I have to blow a kiss. I have to do a little wave or something. Go search Gianna Dior wink. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it.
Kiss,
yeah, they're fake. Thank you. I'm going to end this by saying everyone was bullying Chloe Cherry for having crazy lip filler. She's always had crazy lip filler and I think she looks amazing and I think she did very good in Euphoria. Chloe Cherry blew the fuck up. I know we're getting into like, I just randomly thought about Chloe Cherry. I love her.
Can I just say,
they were
disconcerting when you see her fucking the guys that we fuck like regularly, like for porn.
I'm like, where? Yeah.
I've seen like the videos.
She's a movie star now.
I know, but I've seen like the videos of her working with like guys that I've worked with and I'm like,
yeah. I remember being on set with her one day. She was leaving and I was coming. I guess I was like the second scene of the day. And she loved me. Like she was just so nice to me, so sweet and like very outgoing.
I've never heard anyone say a mean word about her.
I've never heard anyone say anything about Chloe Cherry, like bad. I've heard men say bad things, but I think it's because they're jealous. They were mean about like her body, like things that don't really matter. I've heard people say mean things about Chloe, especially like on the internet about like her lips. Like she's always looked like that since the beginning. Like I met her when I was like brand new in the industry or she was brand new or something. It was like within the first year of me being in the industry, I met her and she was nothing but nice, nothing but sweet, but she had the big lips. She's always had the big lips and people bully her. It looks good on her. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of lip filler, but it looks good on her. Like if you do it right, it can look good. The amount of men who have been like, I love your natural face. Like I love how natural you are. I'm like, I have so much lip filler. I guess at this point now I don't have much, but I was just thinking about that today. Meghan Markle, there was a post. I guess this was like a long time ago. It was when Meghan Markle got married to Prince Harry. There was a post where this guy commented on like a picture of Meghan Markle from her wedding. And he was like, women are so beautiful without makeup. Other girls should take notes because women shouldn't wear makeup. Women are so beautiful without makeup. You should not cake this all on your face. And a girl just quote tweeted that tweet and said, men are so stupid. And like none of the men understood and everyone was getting mad. Like all the men were getting so mad, but the women understood that like she's wearing a full face of makeup. She's just not wearing pink or blue on her eyes. Like it was so obvious to women that Meghan Markle was wearing makeup on her wedding day, but like men thought that she wasn't wearing any makeup. I'm like, no, she's just wearing natural makeup. Like right now I have makeup on. Like I am just wearing like natural, like I kind of did darker on my eyes today because I wanted to slay, but I'm wearing makeup. But sometimes men don't think that you're wearing makeup when you actually are. So it's just really funny to me. Like that is like one of the most comedic things to me when people are like, when men are like, you're so beautiful without makeup. And I'm like, I'm wearing a full face of makeup right now. Like I have lashes on right now. I'm fully beat right now and you don't think that I'm wearing makeup. Like that's the funniest thing to me. I'm like, you really just don't see real women without makeup. I feel, I don't know, not to be cocky, but I will say, not to be self-absorbed, but like, I feel like I still look good without any makeup. Like I still look like me. Like I don't care.
Not for you, not for you, not for you, not for you.
The sound she just made. That was a crazy reaction.
Sorry, my bad.
Like, you know me without makeup, but I also,
when I don't have
I look similar.
I look like a young Chinese boy. I am not joking.
I don't think I've ever seen you without makeup on, actually.
No, because my lashes go straight and you're like, oh, what a nice young man.
Yeah. What a nice little boy. What a cute little boy.
When I was a teenager, I would go to work without makeup at Starbucks sometimes. And I would have my back and a ponytail. And
he looked like a Chinese boy.
People would call me sir all day long. And I was like, I have my massive
That would piss me off. You have massive tits.
Talking about?
Yeah, that's no excuse at that point. You know what the great Holly Randall taught me? You shouldn't put your hands towards camera. That's a porn girl thing that she taught me a long time ago, and I've never forgotten it. If you're posing towards camera, which the only time you're doing that is if you're in doggy, they want you to do doggy and your ass is up in the air. You put your hand slightly angled because it makes your hands look longer if you're going like that. Like it makes you look like a demon alien. So if you do like that, you don't look like a demon alien. By the way, we're going to have Chloe Surreal on another podcast episode, but with headphones on, like actually in the shot. I know you're only hearing her voice. I think next time we start having guests, the goal is to have me alone most of the time and then we bring on cool guests, but we're going to have Chloe Surreal as a guest at some point. Oh my God, I love that random people are texting me right now. Please hold. The text that I just received, this is from a porn girl. Girl, ... I need to fuck you again soon. That's a text I got at 8:48. It's 8:49 right now. I actually do like this girl. I think she's pretty hot, but that's a pretty crazy text to receive. It is Friday night.
It's Friday.
It's Friday night. That's expected. I get it. The last podcast that I did, which was episode 1, I was kind of joking about wearing like a little tank top and sweatpants. And then I was like, it's kind of my vibe. Like it's very on brand for me. So now the rest of my podcast days are going to be low cut tops and sweatpants. I thought a Montessori was a school for stupid children. I thought it was a school for like intellectually challenged children. So I would always lie about the fact that I went to a Montessori, and because for some reason in my brain, I thought it was a school for stupid kids. It was not. I call it a trade school for babies, or a trade school for young children. I guess I was probably like from age 4 to like 8, I went to a Montessori. So now I think that's the way my brain works. I have to think creatively and like hands-on, or I'm not learning anything. Like if you try to teach me anything from like a book or like a textbook, or I have to read something, I'm just not going to learn it. Like I have to like see it physically in front of me. I can't learn. I'm a visual learner. I think only because I went to a Montessori. And I lied about it for years. Like people, like we would talk about like preschool or kindergarten or like childhood, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I went to public school from like kindergarten up. And then I realized that a Montessori is not for stupid children. It's for like, it's just a different type of learning. I thought a Montessori was a school for dumb kids. So I lied about it for years and years and years. I just found this out like last year, actually. Like I was a full grown adult and I found out that a Montessori is not a special kid school. Okay, anyway, I'm Gianna Dior and you're watching Eargasm. I really have to pee, so I'm gonna go.